It's really exciting because they do a lot of interdisciplinary projects. So I'm always working with different types of scientists on very varied sites and projects. So it's a really exciting and fun place to work. And I'm glad they're involved in the conference.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, no, please do.
So this work that you do you do anything on mine sites, or is this elsewhere? Like who uses your data?
Hi, my name's Stacey Priestley. I'm a research scientist at CSIRO. I'm a geochemist who works in the groundwater space, and I'm on the local organising committee for the International Applied Geochemistry Symposium, which will be in Adelaide in October 2024. And I'm here with one of my colleagues on the local organising committee, Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Jackson. I work for the University of Queensland and the Sustainable Minerals Institute. I'm a research fellow with a group called MyWatch, which is all about mine waste transformation through characterisation. And the focus of the conference this year is geochemistry for a sustainable future. There are 6 sub-themes: exploration, processing, technology, research, society, and perhaps our favourite, environment.
Yeah, definitely our favourite.
Yes. Why don't you tell me what you've been doing recently?
So as a hydrogeochemist, I use environmental traces and isotopic traces to look at water systems. So I'm particularly interested in groundwater systems. And so I work on, I guess, a lot of different ways of characterising groundwater systems by using environmental traces. So a groundwater system, you can't see it, and it's very hard to measure it because it's underground. So we use the environmental traces to look at what's going on, particularly how much water is coming into the system, how it's flowing and where it's discharging, what kind of reactions are happening underground with the rocks that it's moving through. And so I'm generally interested in, I guess, whole characterisation, which includes like recharge, inter-aquifer leakage, mixing, and
I think that's awesome. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, no, please do.
So this work that you do you do anything on mine sites, or is this elsewhere? Like who uses your data? What's the
So I guess a lot of work that we do is for the broader community. So at CSIRO, generally we are looking at groundwater systems as a whole, trying to get an understanding of them as a whole. But we also do work on, I guess, mine tenements as well. So it depends on the client and I guess the scope of work that CSIRO is working on. Yeah. But I personally usually work at the more regional scale. So mines might be on the groundwater system, but I wouldn't work on the groundwater system of the mine site in particular.
Yeah. And do you do anything in the acid mine drainage space? I guess that my brain just leads.
Yeah, I haven't. So the only way I've looked at any kind of acid mine drainage is actually in the groundwater, the mound springs of the Great Artesian Basin. So some of them have it's kind of like acid deposited in the spring. And so if they dry out, that can be problematic when they're re-wet. So that's the only way I've had experience with that. So what are you working on?
Well, for me, that's the AMD question. I work mostly with mine waste, so from rehab and closure. But more recently, and what MyWatch's main focus has been in the last few years, is recovering or characterising critical metals and critical minerals in mine waste from legacy and abandoned sites in some operational around Australia.
Yeah, wow. Are you working on any particular sites?
Lots. I guess the program first kicked off in Queensland, and we work with a lot of the state government, so we're really well supported that way. So up in Queensland, there's a great site called Balgammon. We have a PhD student looking at recovering indium from the mine waste up there.
What's indium used for?
Mostly it's used in touchscreens, so like on your phone or on TV screens, and a bit in solar panels. So a lot of these critical metals are really trying to support these new technologies, and I guess mostly sustainable technologies.
Yeah, and I guess if you're doing like previous mine waste, that's going to help rehabilitate these mines?
I guess that's the dream or the goal, is to find these mine waste sites that may have environmental issues, but also host large endowments of critical metals like cobalt or indium. And if you can reprocess and recover the critical metal as well as rehab in the same footstep, that's a really big move forward.
Yeah. Definitely apply geochemistry for a sustainable future.
It's true. I believe CSIRO are a major sponsor of the conference. Tell me a bit about it. Do you like working there? How long have you been there?
Yep. So they are a major sponsor. So CSIRO is the leading national science organisation. I've been there for almost a year, so I'm pretty new, but I do love it. And so they work on a huge range of issues. There's very different types of scientists. So as I'm in the groundwater space, I work in the environment theme at CSIRO. But it's really exciting because they do a lot of interdisciplinary projects. So I'm always working with different types of scientists on very varied sites and projects. So it's a really exciting and fun place to work. And I'm glad they're involved in the conference.
That's very cool. What's some of the interdisciplinary projects you've been working on?
So one of the ones I'm looking at, we're characterising a groundwater system that we don't have very much information on. So we're using, I guess, the usual geochemistry tools that I'm used to, but we're also using geophysics. So, but we're also working with climate scientists and modellers to have a look at what future climate change effects might have on these systems as well. So lots of different types of scientists, even just on the one project.
Big topic.
So how do you characterise mine waste?
That's a great question. And it depends on, I guess, how much funding we have behind us. I would love to take a drill rig out to every tailings dam, waste rock dump and drill it through, collect samples. We look at the chemistry to look at assay. The mineralogy for us is really important, so we're all about characterising. So these materials have already been processed once. So everything that was easy to collect, like the copper or the gold and the silver, has already been recovered. So everything else in there that we want, like the cobalt or the indium, is often contained in minerals that are a bit more difficult to process. So we use mineral liberation analysis and laser ablation to look at the mineral associations and where these metals are hosted in what minerals. So we can really think about processing and how we move forward. And if we don't have the funding for a drill rig, it's a lot of hand augering and sweat, blood and tears.
Nice. So fun field work for you.
So much fun field work.
And are they looking at doing like green processing to get the minerals? Is that part of the plan?
It would be the dream. Yeah, there's a few little startup companies that are in the processing space, not my particular skill set, but some of them, are trying to use environmentally friendly ways to recover whatever metals. And then is the ultimate goal would be to use all of the products. So if you recover cobalt, but then you've got clays that can be used as road base or sands that can be used for ore sands so that you end up with no mine waste. That
sounds like a pretty good plan.
It would be.
That's really cool. So is that the kind of thing you're going to submit an abstract on for the conference?
I think I would love to submit an abstract. We've started this work in South Australia, and by the time the conference comes around, we would have characterised a few sites in the state. And I would love to submit, I guess, an abstract on what the mine waste and signatures are from various sites.
Yeah, maybe we can go there on a field trip.
And you, do you think you will submit an abstract?
Yeah, I think I will. There's a couple options, but I think one of the projects I'm working on, we're using different environmental traces to characterise a site that's not been characterised before. So I think that would make a cool case study for one of the abstracts. But we'll see. I'll see.
Yeah, great. I'd love to read it.
Thank you. Yeah, as well as abstracts, I'm really looking forward to the workshops and especially the field trips. So I think we're possibly going to be going to a winery for one of the field trips and one of the other field trips to Hallett Cove Boardwalk, which has some pretty cool geological features. So I'm definitely going to go on that one, I think.
I'm really looking forward to the field trips too and the whole conference. And there's more information on the website. Don't forget to register. Abstracts are open.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing you there.